Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel and this is part 2C of chapter 3. Today we will be discussing the third part of spreadsheet software and we will be discussing the topics using formula and functions, absolute and relative addressing, sorting and filtering data, creating charts and graphs, macros and printing spreadsheets. So let's start. Now, what is the main use of formula? Basically, we use them for basic operation like addition, subtraction and for calculating average, etc. All these can be done with the help of formula. So, what are the advantages of using formula? Basically, when we are using formula in Calc, then we need not re-enter the formula again, but we just need to change the data. Calc will automatically recalculate the answer and we will need not to rewrite the formula again. Another advantage is that they can easily copy it to a number of cells. Means if we have written a formula in one cell and I want the same formula in the consecutive 10 cells, then I can easily copy that formula to other cells too, and the answer will be calculated according to the data in different cells. In Calc, a cell reference identifies the location of a cell or group of cells in the worksheet. As we know, cell reference is the address of cell. So, whichever cell reference is there, Calc will identify the cell or group of cell according to the cell reference. And it is also known as the address of cell. Cell references are used in formula, function and other commands. Individual cell reference. So, individual cell reference is basically referred to as the address of a single cell. Like A1 is the address of topmost cell, which is the leftmost cell 2, and B1 the cell after it. So, these are individual cell references. Means each cell has its own address. This is known as individual cell reference. Whereas if we talk about range of cell, then it is different from individual cell reference in the way that range of cells uses cell reference of multiple cells. They may be consecutive to, for example, here is D1 to D5. That means there will be cell reference for a number of cells from D1 to D5 and they will be D1, D2, D3, D4 and D5. Now, suppose you want to add cell of one cell to another cell. Then how will you do it? First way is to type the cell reference using keyboard and second way is using the mouse. So, let us suppose that the cell of which we have to add reference is A1 and the cell in which we are adding the cell reference is B2. So now you have to double click on B2, then you have to type equal sign in cell B2. After it you will click in the cell A1 and then you will see that in B2 the address of A1 is inserted. You can see here we have applied the simple sum formula and here we are adding numbers. Means we are adding equal 4 plus 5 and we want the result in D6. Here you can see that I have not entered the numbers but I have entered the cell reference of different cells and then I am displaying the result in D6. Now, there are different types of operators. First operators are arithmetic operators. These are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and exponentiation. Next type of operators are comparison operators, means in which we compare the numbers or the values. So these are equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, not equal to. Now, just now we have discussed about formulas. Now we are going to discuss about functions. These are both are different from each other. What are functions? Functions are a set of predefined formulas. Basically, functions are different from formulas. How? In a formula, we provide both the operands as well as the operator. Operands means arguments. But in function, we only provide operands but not the operator. Why not operator? Because those operator or the operations are already predefined to perform all the arguments. Just like a formula, the function also begins with an equal sign. There is no difference in beginning the formula and function. We specify the arguments enclosed in parentheses and separated by a comma. Now, let us discuss about some of the commonly used functions which are available in Calc. So first is product. If you want to calculate product of different arguments, means different numbers, then you can use the function product. Next is square root. So if you want to calculate the square root of any number n, then you can use the function square root. Power function for calculating power p of any number n. Then log to calculate log of a number n to base p. Round. This function is used for round off or estimating the value of any number n to digits d. Next is to calculate sine, cosine and tangent of number n. We can use the function sine and cos and tan n. Next is random between. Basically, whenever we want to find any number between any two numbers, then we can use the function rand between. Next is quotient. If we are dividing any number a by b and we want to find their integer quotient, so we can use this function. Next is absolute value. If we want to find the absolute value of a number n, then we will use the function absn. Next is average. So if you want to calculate average of numbers, then you can use this formula. Now suppose that there are multiple arguments in a function, means there are multiple numbers, then how will you apply that to? You will simply give the range of cells. For example, if we want to calculate the sum of the numbers from a1 to a5, then we will enter the formula using the function sum equals sum a1 to a5. Here we have used the range of cells a1 to a5 and the result is displayed in cell a6. Now let us understand Various types of cell references. First is relative. It is by default in Calc. Basically, it adjusts and changes when copied or when we are using autofill. Let us understand this through an example. Here you can see in A6 we have sum of A1 to A5 and we have copied it, the formula of A6 to B6, but using the relative cell reference. So the same answer will not be copied because only the formula is copied, not the cell reference. The cell reference has changed but the formula has not changed. So the answer in B6 will be according to the cells B1 to B5, and this is how relative reference is useful. Now, absolute addressing. Absolute addressing is useful when we want to retain the cell address. Means we want that the cell address is same even if we copy or use autofill, but the cell address should remain the same. Suppose here, see in the image, I want to copy the content of A3 to A4 as well as B4. Then how will I do it? I will simply prefix A3 the column name and the row number with $, means $A, $3. $sign is used to hold the column address and the row address constant, means they will not be changed. So I will copy it and then you can see that the same content is copied in both the cells and it has not changed according to the cell. Now next is mixed addressing. As its name suggests, it is a mixture, means it is a combination of absolute and relative cell addressing. So if you want to prefix one part, then only one part will be prefixed and the other one will not be prefixed. Let us understand this through an example. Here, suppose I entered the formula of A4 as A3 plus $B, $3. Means I want to fix the value of cell $B, $3 means B3 cell, but I don't want to fix the value of first cell. I want it to change accordingly. So here I am applying relative cell addressing in first part and absolute cell addressing in second part, and this is what is known as mixed addressing. And as in the result, you can see that when I copied the content of A4 to B4, then B3 changes because I have applied relative cell addressing in first part, and the second part does not change because I have applied absolute addressing there, and hence it is the example of mixed addressing. Now let us discuss about sorting and filtering data. Basically, whenever we sort data, that means we are arranging the data in either ascending order or in descending order. So let us understand how to sort data. So to sort data in ascending order, you have to first of all select the cells that you want to sort. Click on the sort ascending icon on the standard toolbar. This is the option that you can do through standard toolbar. Or you can go to the data menu where you will find the sort option. When you will click on the sort option, then a dialog box will be opened similar to this box. You can select the column based on which you want to sort the data. Also, you can select the ascending or descending option, then click OK. Means here two different icons are present, so you can choose the icon accordingly, and here in the dialog box you are provided with two options, ascending and descending. You can choose any one of them according to your requirement. Now, sorting using multiple. Suppose that there is a table and there you apply sorting on only one column. Suppose you have applied sorting on only this column. Now, in this column, three values are same, 234. Now, how will Calc sort them? So, to avoid this confusion, we have applied sorting using multiple columns. First of all, you have to do the same thing. You have to go to the data menu, you have to select the sort option, and then the dialog box will appear. Now, in this dialog box, you can find that there are two more options. These are then by and then by. Basically, these are helpful. The first column contains similar value and even the second column also contains the similar value. So, in case first column has similar values, then sorting will be done according to the second column, and in case the second column also contains same values as shown here, then sorting will take place at the third column. And here is the result of the table we have shown. First of all, we have sorted the third column, then according to the second column, and then according to the first column. Now, next is Options tab. As you have seen in the sort dialog box, there was tab 2. So now we are going to learn about its option, case sensitive and direction. Basically, we use the option case sensitive when there are same words but their case is different. Means some are in uppercase, some are in lowercase. Then we can also sort them in ascending and descending order. If we have sorted them in ascending order, then the lowercase words will appear first and the uppercase will be placed after them. While if we sort them in descending order, then vice versa will happen. In direction, basically we have to select that the sorting is to be performed row wise or column wise. This is the work of direction option. Now filter. Now if you want to filter data, so it is different from sorting data. How? Whenever you are sorting data, that means you are just arranging the given data. But if you are filtering data, that means only a specific amount of data which is satisfying your conditions, your filters will be displayed, and the other data which is not satisfying the conditions will not be displayed. This is the use of filtering data. So you can apply the filters by using the data menu and then choosing the filter option. There are three types of filter: auto filter, standard filter and advanced filter. Here we will learn about auto filter and standard filter. Auto filter. This filter is added on the topmost row of the selected data in the form of a drop-down list from which you can select data to be displayed, or in other words, apply filters. Means the auto filter is only added to the topmost row of the selected data, whichever is the first row of the auto filter, that row will be filtered by using the auto filter option. Now, standard filter. It is used to provide more options for filtering, such as combining multiple filters by using and or operator. We use these two operators in the standard filter, and there are a number of options to us for filtering the data. What does AND operator do? It implies that all the filters must be satisfied for displaying the data. As their name suggests, as we know that AND is used for satisfying all the conditions, but OR is used only to satisfy at least one condition or one filter. So if we have applied the OR operator and we have applied suppose 5 filters, then at least one filter should be there and the data will be displayed. But if we have applied 5 filters and we have choose the operator AND, so the data should satisfy all the 5 filters, then only the data will be displayed. Removing auto filter. Now suppose if you want auto filter, then how will you remove it? You have to first of all select the cells as selected while adding the filter. In the similar way you will select them. Then from the data menu you will simply select filter and then remove filter as shown here. Now let us understand filter through an example. Here is the table we want to auto filter and here is how we will apply the auto filter. When we have chosen the option auto filter, then the drop down icon will appear and there will be options and we can select the options accordingly and the result will be displayed as follows. Now let's standard filter using an operator on the same table. Here we have specified 2 conditions or we have applied 2 filters. First is gender should be male and second condition is that marks should be more than 75. Means marks should not be equal to 75 but they should be greater than 75 and we have applied the AND operator. So which result will be displayed? Gaurav male 98 because here there are only 2 males, Gaurav and Piyush, but the marks of Piyush are 75 which are not greater than 75 but are equal to 75. So this will not be displayed but only one result will be displayed, Gaurav, because he has marks more than 98 and he is a male. Means he is satisfying both the filters. Now let us understand example of standard filter using OR. We are applying filter on the same table. Here we are using 2 filters and we are using the operator. The first filter is gender should be female and the second filter is that marks should be greater than 75. But remember that this is the OR operator. Means any one filter should be satisfied. So what result will be displayed? The result satisfying any one of the following filters will be displayed and the result is as follows. Now how to use standard filter using AND OR operator? Basically here is the same table. And we are going to apply both the operators AND as well as OR operator together and we are going to give various filters to the data. Now let us see what will be the result according to the data. Here as you can see we have applied the filter that the name of the student begins with S and the second filter is name of the student begins with G. So there are 2 students. One name begin with S and one name begin with G. They both are displayed. Why? Because they both satisfy the condition female, first filter, second filter male. So they both are displayed and they both satisfy the given filters also. Now our next topic is how to create charts and graphs. Why do we create charts and graphs? To represent the data graphically and it enhances the presentation of our data too. There are various options in Calc of charts. There are various chart types like column chart, bar chart, pie chart. We will be discussing them soon. First of all, let us understand how to create charts. To create charts, first of all you have to select the data which is to be included in the chart. Then you have to go to the insert menu as shown here. As you click on the insert menu, then you will be displayed with such a menu, and you have to select the chart option from the menu. Or another way is to click on the chart icon in the standard toolbar. A chart wizard dialog box is displayed after this step, and then it can be used to insert various options to the chart, like type of chart, data range, data series, and elements of the chart. Here is the chart wizard. Here you have to select first of all chart type, then data range, then you have to select data series, and then chart elements which you want to be included in the chart. Then you have to click on the button finish. Now let us discuss different types of chart. As we have already discussed that how to insert chart, so we will not be discussing it again. We will be just discussing different types of chart. First is column chart. It is used to compare values across categories by using vertical bars. As you can see here, these are vertical bars, and this is an example of column chart. Next is bar chart. Bar chart is simply the horizontal version of a column chart, means only the bars are horizontal and rest is the same as column chart. It is basically used whenever you have large text labels. Now next, pie chart. Pie chart is basically used to display the contribution of each value to the total, and here each value is referred to as slice and the total is referred to as pie. Next is line chart. Is used to compare trends and changes in values over a period of time, and the data is basically represented in the form of line, as you can see in the figure. Is scatter charts. Basically, whenever you want to see the relationship between variables or you want to compare variables, then you can use the scatter chart. Now let us discuss other options of chart wizard box. First is inserting title. Now if you want to insert title to the graph and subtitle to the graph and the title of x-axis and y-axis, then you can use the option chart elements available in the chart wizard box. Now legends. Legends are mostly located on the right of the chart. They help the readers to decode the charted data. Means it help or it make the data in the chart more descriptive, and it is helpful to the readers of the chart. You can modify the position of the legends and you can even remove them. How? By using the chart wizard box and then choosing the chart elements option. Next is grids. Grids make the data in a chart that displays axes easier to read. Means you can display the grid lines of both the axis, x-axis as well as y-axis, and this helps it easier to read the data. By default, the horizontal grid lines are already displayed, and if you want, you can also display the vertical chart grid lines. You can turn on and off the grid lines by using the same option, chart wizard box and then chart elements. Now, how to resize and move charts. click anywhere in the chart area, drag it to another position, and in the spreadsheet for moving the chart, you can simply move it, and for resizing it, you have to just drag the resizing handle of the chart. Select the chart and then press delete key on the keyboard for deleting a chart. Deleting is also very simple. After the chart has been inserted, you can easily modify the chart. Only you have to right click on the chart and you can see various options as seen in the image, and you can edit various options. Now, macro is a recording of each and every command action you perform to complete a task. Means whichever task you are performing, whichever click you are performing by mouse, whichever keystroke is there, it will record every step. When you run the macro, it plays those actions back in the exact same order. Means if you want to repeat the action multiple times, then you need not repeat those actions again, but you will just simply run the macro and those actions will be repeated by themselves. You need not repeat them again. Now you have done the recording, you have recorded all the tasks you require. Then you have to click on stop recording as shown here. Then a dialog box will appear in which you have to specify the name of the macro and the location where you want to save it. Then you have to click on save for saving it. Now, after you have created the macro and saved the macro, then how to use it or run it, you have to again go to the tool tab, choose the option macros and then run macros. Then a dialog box just like this will open on the screen and it will show all the names of the macros created. Then you will select the name of the macro which you want to run and then click on the run button. The task performed during recording of the macro will be performed in the same order as you performed during recording. By default, recorded macros use absolute cell referencing. Means by default in Calc, the recorded macros use the absolute cell referencing. The address of the cell is absolute, it does not change, which means that exact cell locations are recorded into the macro. Means exact cell location means the task will be performed on that cells only. By default, you can also change them. Delete macros. Now suppose you have done your work and now you want to delete the macros you have recorded. So again you will go on the tools tab, choose the macros option and then you have to choose the option organize macros. Then select the OpenOffice basic option. A dialog box will open up like this. Select the macro you want to delete. And then you will click on the delete button and the macro will be deleted. Now our topic is printing spreadsheet. How to print the spreadsheet? You have to first of all open the file tab on the menu bar. Then you have to select the print option. Then a dialog box will open as you can see here and there will be different options, all sheets, selected sheets, all pages, specific pages, number of copies, and all these options will be there. You have to select them accordingly. After selecting the options, click on the option print and print the spreadsheet. So that was all for today. I know this was a long video, but with this video, spreadsheet software is finally completed, and now we will be discussing presentation software in our next video. So bye bye, be happy and be healthy. Take care.